So then we have the respiratory system. Okay, so then what's the respiratory system? It's just basically a tube, right? Look at this part. We said this is the nose. This is the pharynx. You can see here, see pharynx. Right? This part right here is gonna be your larynx. You have the name here, the larynx. Then you write this part right here is your trachea. And from the trachea, then you have in here the lungs, right? And the lung in here is this lung that I mentioned right there. Okay, obviously this is a model. And in this model, what you have this model from more or less from this level right there to this level right here. This is your larynx right there. And this is your lungs and everything that we have mentioned so far. Okay, so we scroll down right here. Now we can take a look at the lungs. And these lungs are gonna have lobes. The right lung is gonna have 3 lobes. As you can see here, it's being cut in here and cut in here. So this is 1 lobe, another lobe, another lobe. So the right one is gonna have 3 lobes and the left one is gonna have 2 lobes, 1 and 2. So let's go back up so you guys can see that. The area where these bronchus enter the lungs is gonna be this area right here, which is gonna be called the hilum, right there. Since we are making a hole in here for the bronchus, might as well make all the other holes in there also for the arteries, for the veins, for the lymphatic vessels, etc., etc. That area where all the holes in the lungs are going to be, that's going to be called the hilum. Obviously, you have one on each side. The lungs are going to be covered with a membrane. The membrane that covers the lungs is going to be called the pleura. The pleura is a serous membrane, therefore it's going to have 2 layers. The 2 layers that you can see here, you're going to be parietal pleura and visceral pleura, right? And in between these 2, you're going to have the fluid, which is the pleural fluid. So this structure right here helps you with reducing friction, but it's also a very important part of the mechanism that allows the air to go in and outside the lungs. Well, right here, you can see it says the hilum in here, right? Which I already mentioned that. So then we said we have the nose. The job of the nose is to warm up the air and it cleans up the air. It allows the air to pass through from your nose into your pharynx. Okay, and that's why you have in here the pharynx. The pharynx is going to be divided in 3 areas: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. So behind your nose, right here in green, the nasopharynx. Behind your mouth, what you see is the oropharynx right here in yellow. And below your oropharynx and next to the larynx is this part where your Adam's apple is. So then that area is going to be what? The laryngopharynx. The pharynx is going to basically help us to allow the air to go down right here from our nose into the larynx, which is this part right here. So the larynx, people call it the voice box. So what is a box made of? Cardboard. Here's your voice box. But instead of being made of cardboard, it's going to be made of cartilage. But it's going to have multiple different cartilages. This big one right here is the one that people call the Adam's apple. That one is your thyroid cartilage. Below the thyroid cartilage, you're going to have this other one right here, which is going to be called the cricoid cartilage. This is in the front. So right here, we can see the lateral view of that, but you can obviously see what's cut in the middle. You can see the other cartilages that are going to be on the back. On the back, we're going to have cuneiform, corniculae, and arytenoid cartilage. So another one, only the epiglottis. In addition to that, we also have ligaments. These ligaments in here, for example. And we're also going to have in here some muscles in there. In the voice box, obviously, we're going to have the vocal cords. The movement of these vocal cords, obviously, is going to achieve voice with some muscles and some other ligaments that we have in there. Below your larynx, you're going to have your trachea. The trachea is also composed of cartilage. It looks like a ring if you look here in the front, but you can see on the back, it doesn't have cartilage, right? So then we keep scrolling down right here, and you can see how the trachea goes down, and it's going to branch out into the main bronchus. We have 2 lungs, we have 2 main bronchus. So these ones are going to be called primary bronchus. You're going to have primary bronchus, secondary bronchus, tertiary bronchus. Then you're going to have bronchioles. And after that, the final hole is going to be the alveoli. Primary bronchus right there. Then this one may be secondary bronchus, tertiary bronchus right there. Then bronchioles, and at the end, the alveoli. Alveoli are going to be little holes that we have right here in the lungs. Okay, so then we keep scrolling down right here. And right here, this is what I was telling you about, the alveoli. That's where the air needs to go inside, right there in those cavities. What is one of the jobs of the respiratory system? Then one of the jobs is going to be gas exchange. You need 2 pieces in order to have something exchanged. So then what is it that they are exchanging now in between the alveoli and the capillary in this case, but what you're going to exchange is going to be oxygen from your alveoli into your capillary and carbon dioxide from your capillary into your alveoli. Okay, so then if we keep moving right here, another function that the respiratory system is going to have is going to be control of pH.